Hi everyone, this is Jenny K, and I'm back with another video. As I promised you last week, I know I did a stream over the weekend, and so here we are. I meant to do this yesterday, but things got busy, and then I didn't end up doing it. So, I'm back today, and I know that last week we had talked about doing a sphere, and so that is exactly what we're gonna do today. So we're gonna take a set. This would only take up one set of 216 magnets. I know that I had mentioned to you guys that we're going to do the ones that only take up one set first, just in case people just only have the one set. And of course, right now I'm messing up my magnets as we're speaking. Yeah, so we're just going to do the one with the one set of 216. I'm going to set the rest of these aside. And like I said, we're going to make a sphere. And the sphere is actually really easy. Like once you, because it's a lot of steps. Well, it's one step, and it's just once you get that step, you just kind of repeat it. So yeah, we're gonna start. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So sorry guys, I just got off my voice lesson and I'm a little discombobulated. But I did want to get this done sooner than later. And I realize you guys probably can't hear me. Okay. And hopefully now you guys can hear me. I was talking into the wrong microphone because I was used, like I said, I just got, well, you guys didn't hear me. So I am back. This is Jenny K. I'm so sorry for the weird silence or the not so good voices that you may or may not have heard. I forgot to bring my microphone forward. Yeah. I'm clearly not with it today. I just got on my voice lesson, and for my voice lessons, I use my internal microphone because this dynamic microphone doesn't pick up all the little sounds that she needs to hear, like my breathing and stuff like that. And so I forgot to bring this one forward. Anyways, so we are back. And I had said last week that I would stream this weekend, and so here we are. And again, because again, you guys can hear me, we are gonna do the sphere, with one set of 216 magnets. It will not take up all 216 magnets, but you will need one set of 216 magnets. Yeah, I told you last week, and I will say it this week, that we are just doing the ones that we only need one set for, just in case you only have one set of magnets. Instead of like a bunch of magnets. I learned how to make new structures this weekend, thanks to a really nice friend of mine, who was on video chat with me and was helping me. I learned how to make the pyramid and the star and the heart. The heart, I don't think I'm going to do on YouTube because the heart does not look very elegant, people, and there are like holes everywhere, and I don't really like the structure very much. If you guys really want me to, then you can comment, and I most certainly will, but I'm not really a fan of it, so I'm thinking about skipping it. The star and the pyramid are definitely ones that we will definitely do. However, I do need a little bit more time before we do those because I learned them just this weekend. Excuse me. I learned them just this weekend, and so I just need more time to master them. Like the pyramid, I fail at, like, if I succeed once, and I've at least failed 10 times to make, because there's just a lot of steps to it. And yeah, so I'll just need a little more time to sort of figure those out. The star I can pretty much do, but again, a little more time just to master it, because I do want to make sure like I can do it properly before I try and instruct anyone else on how to do it. It's already hard enough to like try and explain to someone what you're doing when you know what you're doing, as opposed to trying to do it when you don't know what you're doing. So we will definitely do the star and the pyramid at some point. But again, I just need a little more time. So after the sphere, we're going to start getting into structures where you're going to need more than one set of magnets. So do keep that in mind. Sometimes it's going to take 3, sometimes it's going to take 4, 2, 3, or 4 sets of magnets. So after this one, because this is the last one I know, where you can make something with just one set of magnets. I'm sure there are other structures, but this is just the last one I know of, where, you'd only need one set. So yeah, moving forward from this point, after today, we are going to go into multi-set, where it's going to be more involved. I think we're going to start with the boxes, because then that'll give me time to do the pyramid and the star and master them, and then we'll go back to the pyramid and the star. And the boxes will be fun. We'll do one per box, because I know how to make like a small box, a medium box, a long like rectangular box that kind of looks like, in Harry Potter, if you watch Harry Potter and you have like that long box with the wand, it kind of looks like that. I mean, not exactly, obviously, and I just think it kind of looks like that. So we'll do that long rectangle and then we'll do a big box that'll take up probably, I want to say at least 4 or 5 sets of magnets. And then by the time we get to all of that, I'll have mastered hopefully the pyramid and the star, and I'll be able to show you those. And then yeah, we'll see where that goes. But that, that is, if I do a stream like once a week, then that should be at least a month's worth of content. So we'll see. But I'm done talking. We're gonna start. Well, I'm not done talking because I'm gonna talk this whole way through. But we're gonna start with the sphere. So with the sphere, what you want to do is oh, sorry about that. That's my phone. Let me lower the volume. Like I said, I just got out of my voice lessons and I was using my phone to play my music. Anyways, so what you want to do is you want to get a string of beads, right? String of beads. And for your first time, I'm not going to do this, but for your first time, well, actually I'm going to do it because I'm going to show you guys. So for your first time, you want to get a string of beads and you want to count 15 beads. Okay. And once you count 50 beads, you're just going to detach the rest of it and set it aside. And then once you have your 15 beads, what you're going to do, you know how when you make the hexagon, we do the first 6. Okay, well, this time we're going to make a pentagon. So you're going to do the first 5 and make a ring. So that ring would comprise of 5 beads. Okay. And you know how in the hexagon, we wrap it around the circumference? We're going to do the exact same thing, except it's going to be a pentagon. And when you make this pentagon, it's not going to be flat. It's going to start caving in. You want to let it cave in. Okay. If it starts getting flat, that means you did something wrong. You want to make it again because you're not going to get a flat pentagon. So you just want to wrap it around the circumference. And as you're wrapping it around, it's going to start wanting to cave in. Let it cave in. Okay. And you're going to have like a little pentagon with 3 beads on each side. Okay. And it's going to be like a little bit caved in. You're going to see like the ring on the outside, like the outside, and it's going to be a little concave on the inside. Okay. The outside is the part where you see the ring of 5. The inside is the concave part. That's really important for you to know. So when I say the outside, that means it's the part where you feel like the 5 little rings, and the inside is where it's little concave and it's like inwards, and you can kind of fit your fingertip inside. Okay. All right. So you made one of those, and then you're going to set it aside, and you're going to make another one. And you may not always need to count out 15 beads. I just wanted you to count 15 beads so you know like what it's supposed to look like and what it's supposed to feel like. Once you know, you don't really need to count it, right? Because you can. It's like making hexagons. I told you at first, count to 36. But obviously, once you know what you're doing and once you kind of get the feel of it, you no longer need to count to 36. So it's the same thing with these, right? So once you know, you no longer need to count to 15. But just for, if you're just starting out, that's what I would recommend. So I'm going to make another one of these. Again, it's 5. I don't know if you can see it, but it's 5 with 3 on the sides. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take one in each hand and make sure they're both facing so that the ring outside portions, okay, so you're holding it between your thumb and your pointer finger. And the way you're going to hold it is so that the ring portion, the outside, is where your pointer fingers are. And the inside, the concave part, the little hole part, okay, is where your thumbs are. And you're going to put them together side by side, edge to edge. And you want to make sure that they're aligned. If you find they're aligning like these are right now, if you find they're aligning, what you want to do is you want to take one of them and you're going to flip it up and you're going to place your thumbs on the outside. So you're going to flip it, turn it around, right? You're going to place your thumbs on the outside where the rings are, and you're going to place your pointer fingers on the inside where the concave portion is, and you're just going to flip it inside out. Okay? And it's going to be back to the way you need it to be. So you don't need to turn it around or do anything else. Once you flip it, it should align, and it's going to make like a little figure. It's going to make a little structure. So the 2 edges are going to be aligned, and you're going to set that aside, and you're going to make another one of these. So essentially a sphere, right, is you're going to keep making these little things, and you're going to connect it to the existing structure. Once you, you're going to make about 15, no, wait, I'm sorry. You're going to, no, wait. Yeah, you're going to make about 10 of these little, 10? Yeah, I think it's 10. You're going to make about 10 of these little balls. And each time you make one, you're going to connect it. So we're going to make the next one. 3, 4, 5, right? Okay. And again, They need to be concave. If they end up being flat, you did something wrong. You want to do it again. Or the magnets are not attaching in the right place and they're being difficult. Okay, so with the third one, you want to place it so that the edge of the third one is positioned so that it connects the first two. Okay, so it's going to make like a little trio. I mean, it's not a triangle, but, it's going to be like a little trio where, you have a little sphere thingy on each side. Okay, and they should all be connected together. Each one of the little each one of the pentagons should kind of be touched. So the third pentagon should be touching both of the first and second pentagons. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. The third pentagon, the edges, and again, they're going to be aligned. Okay, the edges of the third pentagon is going to be connected so that they're touching both the first and second pentagons that you've already connected. And they're going to stay connected like this. It's going to make a little trio. Okay? All right. And then you're going to make another one. All right. Made another one. All right. Now this one is going to go on the other side. So not the side where the third pentagon you just attached is, but the other portion where there's a little thing. So when you attach this one, what's going to happen is that the fourth pentagon is also going to be connected to the first and second pentagon that you connected at the very, very beginning. So the fourth and the third pentagons are on the opposite sides of each other. It's going to make like a little basket shape thing. Okay. And, yeah, it's going to make like a little basket shape thing. All right. And at this point, you're just going to connect them so that they kind of all touch each other. They're not all touch each other, but like you want the edges to connect, right? So, because eventually this is going to turn 3D. So the next sphere we're going to do, it's going to make it turn 3D. So we're going to make another one. Okay. Make another one. And then this one is going to connect. Again, you want the edges to be touching. So, you want it to connect to, actually, this one's interlocking. So let me flip it over. Okay. So you want this one again to connect to, so every time you add a sphere, like every time you add a little structure, every time you add a pentagon, that pentagon should be connected with two other pentagons. Okay. That's the best way to put it. That pentagon should be connected and aligned with the edges of two other pentagons. It doesn't matter which one, okay? It really doesn't. Once you get the first four, really it doesn't matter. But the best rule is that every new pentagon you add should be connected to two other pentagons. They should be touching two other pentagons. If you're, putting it out where like it's only touching the edge of one pentagon, that's not right. You want it to be connected. They need to be next to each other. So it doesn't matter how, okay? It's just that what matters is that each little pentagon is connected to two other pentagons, okay? Starting from the third pentagon. Because obviously when you do the first two, the first two are just attached to each other. So obviously they can't be connected to two other pentagons because there's only two, right? But when you start with the third one and fourth one onward, they're always, you're going to want to connect it so that one pentagon is like when you add a new one, is always going to be touching two other pentagons, the edges of two other pentagons. So at this point, you made kind of like half a sphere type of thing. Okay. So yeah, we're going to keep going. Give me 1 second here. Maybe it's 12. I think it's 12 spheres. Yeah, it's definitely 12 pentagons. I'm sorry, it's not 10. It's 12 pentagons. So you're going to make 12 pentagons. We're on the 6th one right now. And like I said, when you attach, again, they have to be aligned. So right now this one's interlocking, so I'm going to flip it out. Okay. And again, they have to be attached to two other pentagons. Okay. So like this. All right. Now we have half a sphere. By this point, you should have half a sphere because it's definitely 12. So it's going to be 12 pentagons. So by this point, if you've just made the 6th one and attached it, you should have made half a sphere. Okay. And nothing changes. It's half a sphere, but nothing changes. When you attach the next one, again, they should be touching two other pentagons. And you know, you're gonna be like, oh, but this one sticks up a little. It's gonna stick up a little bit. That's perfectly okay. You want it to stick up because it's gonna be 3-dimensional. So you know, you're gonna start seeing things sort of going upwards, and that's okay. That's supposed to be like that. Just follow that rule that the edges of each pentagon should be touching 2 other pentagons, except for the first 2 that you made. Okay. That's like the best way I can explain it to you because you have to connect them. Yeah, you have to connect them. And that's why, for example, like when you did the 4th pentagon, it had to be on the opposite side of the 3rd one because that's the only way you could make it touch 2 other pentagons, right? So again, every pentagon attaches to 2 pentagons. Okay? This one's interlocking, so we're going to flip it inside out. Flip. And again, flipping it is just, you turn it, you rotate it so that your thumbs are on the outside where you feel the little ring of 5, and your pointer fingers are on the inside with the little concave, and you just press your thumbs towards your pointer finger, and it will flip naturally. You don't want to put too much pressure because then you're just going to collapse the structure, okay? You want to gently flip it. If you have like weaker magnets, if you don't have the neodymium and you have the weaker ones, it might make it flatten out instead of flipping out. So you can just remake it. You know, it doesn't take that much time. And we're almost done. We're you know, almost there. But yeah, so each pentagon has to be touching 2 others. When we get to the last one, that pentagon is going to be touching the top row. So I'm going to have to show it to you. But it's going to be really obvious on like how to place the last one because it's going to make like a little hole. And then that hole can be filled by the last pentagon. So you're going to know what to do. It's going to be obvious, but we're not quite there yet. But when we get there, go. Okay. Again, each new pentagon has to be touching 2 others. There we go. Boop. And we're almost there. We are almost there. La 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 la. All right. It's actually quite relaxing to me to make these spheres because it's just like, yeah. I hurt my hand this weekend doing magnets. Okay. So, all right. So now when you're after the 11th one, you're going to have most of a sphere, but there's going to be a hole at the top. Okay. And it's like, you know how, almost like, you know, when you make a pinch pot and how you have a ball, but then you put a hole in the middle and then you make the pot part. Okay. Well, this is going to look almost like you just made that hole. I mean, your thumb's most likely not going to fit in there unless you have a really small thumb, but it's going to be a hole. So it's going to be like most of a ball with a little hole on top, right? So when you make the last, pentagon, right? I'm just going to, I won't need all these beads, but it's better to have more than less. So do that. 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. There we go. Come on. There we go. Okay. So when you have the last pentagon is going to go on top. And again, it's going to be so that the ring part is facing upwards. Because, you know, right now, if you were to feel the ball, you'll feel that they're all facing the same direction. So the ball has tiny little rings because they're all facing in the same direction, right? So you want to make sure this last one as well, you know, it's the same thing, right? This last one, it's going to want to be aligning. So you want to make sure it's aligning and then just gently let it drop on top and you have a sphere. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know. My friend and I were on camera the other day and I swear to goodness he could see nothing of what I was doing. So maybe you can't see it. But yeah, so what you really just want to keep in mind is all the edges should be aligning. Every time you connect a pentagon, they should be touching 2 other pentagons, except for the first 2 and except for the last one, because the last one is just, you just gently pop it on top. But every other pentagon is going to be touching 2 other pentagons, and you're going to slowly see it like turn 3D because it is a 3D sphere. It's going to make like a little sphere. It's cool. And make sure all the pentagons are facing the same direction. And that means that the inside part where it's caved in is facing inwards. Okay, and the outside part where the little rings are is facing outwards. So that when you have the sphere, you'll feel on the outside the little ring of 5 on each, like on the surface of it. Because yeah, and no, you can't fill those. It's not going to be a sphere if you fill those little rings. So you're just going to have a little ring on, you know, on the surface of it. You're going to have many little tiny rings on the sphere, but it still makes a sphere. So yeah, make sure they're all facing the same direction. Make sure they're all aligning. And again, to make the pentagon, you make a ring of 5, right? You make a ring that's comprised of 5 magnets, and then you wrap it around once, okay? And then that will make a little concave thing, and then you keep attaching them to each other. If you were to have more than one set of magnets, you could actually wrap it around multiple times and make bigger spheres. Like this one's like the size of a golf ball, right? But you can make bigger spheres. I've made spheres up till, I think I did one that was like 5 times around because I have 6 sets of magnets and I try to make a sphere out of all of it. It doesn't work with 6 because it eventually stops becoming a sphere and it just starts caving in. Yeah, that doesn't work out. But up to like 5, it does work, I believe, for the most part, and it just becomes a sphere. It is hollow inside though, so it's very easy to smash if you want to smash it. But yeah. And I did smash it. But yeah, if there's that's how you make a sphere. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to email me, jenny.e.kim2007@gmail. And next week, I think I will do probably one of the boxes. Probably like a small box, and then we'll do a medium one and then a bigger one. Or no, we'll do the small, the medium, the rectangular, and then the big one, because the big one just takes effort. The big one's just big. Yeah, no. But yeah, so I'll probably be back next week with the boxes, unless I can figure out the pyramid before that point, or the star before that point. Then we might do one of those instead of the boxes, because the boxes are like, they're fun and I like making them, but you know, it's just like a really big cube. I mean, without the lid. You don't put a lid on it. It's just going to be an open box. So they're fun, and I do want to go over how to do it just in case anyone else is interested, because I had fun making those boxes. Especially the rectangular one. That was a lot of fun. But if I can figure out the star or the pyramid, I mean, I already know how to do the star pretty much, but if I can figure out how to do it consistently, and if I can figure out how to do the pyramid, oh my god, the pyramid gives me a freaking headache. Can't figure it out. It's not that I can't figure it out. Like, I know what I'm supposed to do. It's just doing it. It's execution that's really hard. So yeah, once I get those down, we'll definitely do those. So yeah, that's it for me today. It's a pretty short stream. Again, if you have any comments, feel free to leave them. If you have any, if you want to email me with any questions, concerns, it's Jenny, JENNY.E.KIM2007. And I will, be back probably next weekend. We'll probably do the box most likely. I don't really have any other structures minus the heart, which I'm not really a fan of doing. That would be done with a set of 216. So yeah, we'll be back. But in the meantime, have a lovely week. I'm sorry for the screen reader. In the meantime, have a lovely week. And I will catch up with you guys next weekend.